Hello and welcome to another episode of the Full Force Weekly, brought to you by Generals Joe's Reborn.com with me as your host, Christopher McLeod AKA Diagnostik80. For today's episode, I'm joined by the awesome Patrick Notpicard Stewart. In this regular video series, we round up all the week's news in the world of G.I. Joe. What is it, Pat?
It's the Full Force Weekly.
Heyo! Yes, it is. How are you doing, my good man?
Doing okay. You know, kind of tired. It's already been a busy weekend.
Busy bee of a weekend.
Yeah.
We won't get into that. Anyway, good to have you on. How is everyone in the chat? We've got, it's been blowing up. I post like we have to kind of set the show up, and it goes up online as waiting, and we just get tons of comments in there. It's amazing. So hello to everyone already talking away. Lots of eels up inside you. Comments going on because eels are coming shipping. We've actually got a whole news segment today, haven't we, Pat, about classified figures like a barrage, a deluge coming soon.
Yeah. That's just how it works lately.
It is, isn't it? It's like 1 million pre-orders, everything at once. Like that's how it is. That's the year. It's not like spread out. There's not a rhythm to it. It is just literally here's everything. Buy it, and then you'll have it all at the same time. It's ridiculous. I say all at the same time. That's not true, but it's in very close proximity of everything, which is weird. I won't moan though, because it's better than that time where it was like a year and we pre-ordered it, and then a year later we finally got it in hand. At least that's changing a little bit.
Yeah, that's true. There's a shorter period of time though. But you know what? I wonder how everyone handles it. Does everybody get in 20 figures and open all of them up, or do you just have a stack and you just enjoy them individually? How does everybody handle that?
I'll tell you how I handle it. I get it in, I do an unboxing, I put them away, and they stay on a shelf somewhere or on my desk. My desk at the moment is hideous. It's a war zone of classified figures that have come out in the last 6 months. It's crazy. Jamelin says a stack. They get so it's a stack that they go through one by one, I take it. Or there's another one in there, Pat. Do you get them and just leave them and never touch them because you don't have enough time to go anywhere near them? There's another option. Who does that?
Yeah. I think I have a few that what I do is I try to just keep a bunch of them and, enjoy them one at a time. But I think occasionally one slips through the cracks and I forget to open things.
Yeah, I think that does happen though. It does. First world problems. Or Yorktown Joe says, enjoy individually and paste them out for the next pause. Pause. Yeah, there's not really a pause anymore, is there, Yorktown Joe? Matthew says they trickle in and I open them as they come in, and I do photo shoots with them. Awesome stuff. Future Fortress says, I usually open them pretty quick, but I'm running out of display area, so some of them are hanging with my Black Series figures at the moment. Super Sign, got to open them, play with them, but most people just get them to post it on social media for clout. That does seem to happen sometimes, doesn't it? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And RKW just adds them all to the Cobra or Joe shelf. I guess that's what happens a lot of the time. Anyway, we're going to get to classified shortly. But before that, Pat, we had a bit of news from, Haya. Haya Toys gave us the goods during the week with their latest exquisite mini 4-inch scale Firefly reveal. They dropped a number of product and dio images showing off the Cobra Saboteur, who continues the classified but smaller aesthetic. They dipped into that Cobra Island design, and I have to admit, he looks pretty cool with his little drone and bulky protective secondary. The figure comes with all the same accessories as his classified counterpart: the drone, blaster, night vision goggles, tablet and backpack, as well as the diorama piece figure stand that all the Haya Toys figures come with. They've even thrown in something that the classified figure doesn't have: some spare hands. The figure will be $24.99 and should ship around Q1 of 2024. Only the Asian market, don't forget, so your best bet is Robot Kingdom or some sort of independent store online like that. Well, yes, there you go. Haya Toys reveal Firefly out of nowhere. Pat, what are your thoughts initially on seeing this reveal?
Well, this is shaping up to be pretty good for me, except for, the ability to actually get them.
I like the 4-inch figures they're doing, but I can't get them. Yeah.
I was actually looking this week for some, Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow, and it's like it was going to cost me 65 for Snake Eyes and 45 for Storm Shadow, and it's just like, man, those prices that's really high.
It is, yeah.
When they start to add up.
I mean, part of that is the fact that they don't sell them in this region. So
that's the bulk of it. Yeah, I mean, it was a lot of that is just being eaten up in shipping. But I kind of like the direction that this is headed, because I've often said, one of the things that I think of whenever I get a 6-inch figure in hand is that I wish that it was a 3 3/4 or 4-inch figure, because that's what I prefer.
Yeah.
So Haya is kind of giving me that, and this looks like, honestly, it looks a little bit better than the others. Like I just kept on getting that feeling that the upper legs were a little too smooth on the other figures.
Yeah,
because that's not really the case with him. And yeah, the newer Firefly, I think, looks a little more classic. But I have 4-inch figures that look like classic Firefly.
Yeah,
this is the one that's different, and so I'm happy that they're making it. And I kind of thought that there'd be a finite number of them they could get to before that would be over, since the 6-inch stuff is moving toward more classic. But now we're getting new characters, and so if they run out of that, they could move into some of the other new characters and stuff.
Absolutely. I was kind of having this conversation on the burst when I did the live reaction to it, and I was kind of talking with the people in the comments about what kind of, there'd be like there's only like a certain limit to the classified style, early classified style designs, and like who they thought we could still do. And obviously you've got like Roadblock V2, the first one though. You've got the first classified version, if you know what I mean. Scarlet is another one they could do in that kind of style. The Baroness from Cobra Island, Beach. Well, we've already got Beach, everyone's talking about. Zartan was brought up, Major Blood was brought up, because they're both kind of like the early versions of them anyway, are very kind of specific to classified. So there's definitely a few you could use. Viper, Cobra Island Trooper is another one I think would be really cool at this scale. There's a few they could do, but then all of a sudden I feel like it hits a wall, and then they'd probably be, at that point, they'll probably be doing their own designs. Would you expect?
Yeah, but you've just listed out several figures, and we are getting new things like Mole Rats and Shooter.
Oh,
there
yes,
are going to be some more of them coming in. It feels like
that are specific to classified. Yeah.
Tripwire. I mean,
yeah,
there are going to be plenty of them, and yeah, it is going to kind of throw them a curveball to need to be putting in that many accessories with a figure.
Yeah.
But even with Tripwire, if they just make just the bulky one, that I think would make me pretty satisfied.
As long as they put McLeod in the title of the information, that's all I care about. Neil, I had your comment up on the screen a second ago, but I didn't feel like we needed to really, explain ourselves there. But yeah, you think they're absolutely worth it. I've seen the Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes figures; they look great. The only thing I've heard of any kind of like criticism is that only one of the hands held weapons, something along those lines. So yeah, I think maybe Haya could definitely improve in certain areas. And like Flint's head sculpt on the previous Flint figure, I hope that kind of gets maybe a little bit, well, maybe I hope it's a little bit better in person, I should say. Super Sign, is Haya doing what Hasbro was supposed to do originally? No, I think the designs were for a 6-inch line, Super Sign. I don't think there was any, I don't think they were thinking about this for a 4-inch line. Anyway. Future Fortress doesn't want them to do that Scarlet figure that I mentioned earlier, your least favorite figure. Well, that's, I would expect them to do that Scarlet, though, genuinely. And probably, and then you've also got the Operation Blackout kind of designs as well, which, you've got bats in there. Could you see them doing some of those crazy bats?
Oh, man, if they did, that'd be really cool if we ended up getting the more early classified design of the bat in 4-inch form, because yeah, like I said, some of that stuff was getting very close to what we got anyway. But then there are some of them, like, if we got the Crimson Guard, I was so happy with that sculpt that if it looked a lot like that 6-inch Crimson Guard, but in 4-inch form, yeah, I could see that being pretty satisfying.
Yeah, big time. Someone asked if they think Haya's Baroness will have purple streak in her Viper Scout. Yeah, I could see that definitely. That because that's like an aspect, a feature of that original design, and they seem to be going very hardcore to that original design. So I think we'd probably see purple streak in her hair, that entire purple blob, like an Operation Blackout. I definitely preferred it in the artwork where you saw it kind of phase into the hair. But on Operation Blackout, it just looked like it was just a thick purple blob at the bottom of her hair. So hopefully it will be a little bit more subtle, shall we say. Kind
of surprised we haven't seen that already, to be honest.
Actually, I agree. Maybe, like, I don't know, after seeing Flint's head sculpt, I'm a little bit concerned about characters that aren't masked with Haya.
Yeah, I think that's a very valid concern, and I don't have high hopes for them to be that exact to how good the 6-inch sculpt is.
But the masked heads look great, and this Firefly looks beautiful. I love the fact that the drone's included, obviously.
Yep.
It's literally the entire classified loadout. One thing I didn't mention in the video is obviously the little dynamite stack he comes with as well, with the timer on it. But yeah, I was listing out all the accessories and forgot to mention that one, of course. But yeah, the tablets there, the blaster that's specifically the classified one, the night vision goggles look cool, and I think that secondary looks pretty dope. And we will see a little comparison at the end of this slideshow when we get there with the classified Firefly, and the secondary actually looks a little bit like leaner in a weird way, like a little. It's not as low in the crotch area, shall we say? But we'll get to that in a second. Looks really nice. Again, like these kind of shots really bring out a lot of the details here. I like that the camo's a little darker too, and that kind of dark strip down the middle of the balaclava as well really kind of, I don't know, gives them a little bit more depth in terms of the design there. It's really nice. There he is again on the old background. As you can see, that grundle coverage is definitely kind of sits a little higher, which I think is higher. Get it? Which is something that I think does improve the look overall of that figure.
I agree. And I think it'll probably be harder plastic though than the 6-inch figure. So
no doubt,
a little bit more difficult to pose out.
Do you think they're going to have it so that it comes off?
I probably wouldn't even try, to be honest.
And I was wondering if they had it like as little clips and fasteners and stuff, but I don't know. We'll see, I guess. There's the whole loadout. And then finally, like I mentioned, that's all the information. So release time, 2024 Q1. Same, I think, as Beachhead. Or Flint. Same as Flint. I think it's the same as Flint. Price, $24.99 USD, and obviously Asian market only. So like I said before, Robot Kingdom are a good possibility, and then any other similar kind of independents are probably the best way to go trying to get hold of these. Here is the comparison. As you can see, this is what I was talking about with the grundle coverage. It does feel a little higher on the body. But I don't know, it's pretty identical, isn't it, Pat, there, those two?
It is, yeah. I mean, if you didn't point out the fact that they are not the same figure, at a glance, they look the same. Absolutely.
So I think they've done a good job on that 4-inch version, and proved that you can get just as much detail on that figure as well than the 6-inch one does. So that's pretty cool. So that is Haya Toys Firefly. Are there any characters, Pat, that you would like them to do that we haven't mentioned already? Are there any characters that you'd like to see them try and do that we haven't seen in Classified yet?
That we haven't seen in Classified that I would like Haya to do?
Yeah.
To be honest, not really. No. I don't know. I don't know that I would want Haya at this point going into their own designs for anything. I mean, maybe
we'll take that out of the equation. Classified figures that haven't been revealed yet by Classified that Haya could do in the future. Are there any characters you want to see in the line?
Again, it puts me back to where we were at the end of the 4-inch line, and it really felt like one of the figures that was super outdated that needed to be revisited was Duke. So I would like to see if we're getting a retro Duke, then I would like to see Haya perhaps visit that in a smaller scale.
Okay, cool. So going against the original classified styling in that sense.
Yeah, I guess so. We're just so starved for that figure, in my opinion, because if you look at those original 25th anniversary packs that we got, a lot of those characters were redone. It's just bizarre that Duke, has had multiple opportunities, but just hasn't gone there.
No, they just keep re-releasing the Screaming O-Face
Exactly.
one
If Haya comes out with an O-Face, their own O-Face Duke, I will feel personally insulted.
What they should do is they should do that release, give him the cross straps for the jetpack, but no jetpack. Yeah, that works, right? That makes sense. One of the worst releases of a figure in human history, I believe, is not the O-Face Duke. That, like, it's okay on its own merit, whatever, fine, once. But then to do it in the 50th re-release and then almost like clockwork for the retro series, was mind-boggling, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Anyway, let's not bring up old horrible information that makes us have PTSD. Let's move on to a bit of classified news then, Pat. So we're moving away from your 4-inch and we're heading to 6-inch now. So strap yourself in because there's a lot to talk about here. Ready?
Yep.
Ready the defences and brace yourselves as a deluge of classified figures make their way to us at a rate only seen in Fast and Furious movies, at a rate they make Fast and Furious movies as well. Lots of new figures have been showing up recently, including Tunnel Rat, Grunt, Tripwire, the Telly Viper with Trouble Bubble, and Lowlight. Thanks to G.I. Diego on Instagram, Jason Yu, Xcorpio on YouTube, and Ryman Lou for all the images and videos this week. In addition to that, Classic Toys UK on Twitter posted a list of all the upcoming classified figures release dates for multiple Pulse regions for the rest of the year. The list also highlighted a new internal code word that we hadn't come across yet: Path Wolf Spider Varma. Yeah, your guess is as good as ours. I say that, but it's not always as good as ours because we usually know what what they are going to be. In this case, though, we're a little bit flummoxed on why they've gone that route for internal code words all of a sudden. But I don't know. It just seems really convoluted, that code word, doesn't it, Pat?
It's just a bunch of words that don't go together.
So we've gone from like authors, we had like we had space, like, asteroids and meteors and stuff like that. Before that, it was insects and little creatures. And now we've apparently arrived at the random word generator.
It's like there are 4 different people that felt that there should be their secret word. And they're just like, we'll just give them to all of you because none of it matters.
Yeah, they can have all of the words. This is a good shout. Someone just put in the comments from previous. O-Face Duke versus Falcon Classified. Who wins in that battle royale? Thanks, Johnny.
Falcon Classified has only happened once. I was fine with O-Face Duke at first. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, that was fine. It was just the repetitive nature of it. And I got it why it came out a second time, too. It's like, okay, I understand.
I didn't quite understand, honestly, about the re-release because it wasn't about O-Face Duke. It was about other things in that. It was about the set in general, not the figures in that set. Like, for me, it was like, we want this set to be more widespread so we can get hold of it to complete the DVD collection sets, right? Like, it was I found it so difficult getting some of those. And for me, like, splitting the figures up and putting them in different things doesn't achieve getting that set. It achieves getting some of the figures.
You're
Yeah,
missing the piece that they needed. There was a mass device piece, or was that a
mass
weather
device
vomit?
piece,
It was a mass
DVD.
device.
The way it's presented, that set is really cool, and I love those DVD sets. I thought they were loads of fun.
Yeah.
And that for me, it's a miscommunication, I think, where people were like, "Oh, we want these figures in that set, not separated and re-released." Is that not really what I think anyone really wanted? That's from my perspective, anyway. I could be wrong on that one. I'm not saying I'm completely right on that, but that was from my perspective. That's what it felt like. In terms of if we're talking just head sculpts, O-Face Duke is by far and away better than Falcon's classified head, in my opinion.
Yeah, yeah. For what it's supposed to achieve, yeah, for sure.
And straight head sculpts as well, like, yeah, 100%. O-Face Duke wins that. Falcon's still for me one of the worst head sculpts I think I've ever seen, and Falcon actually probably has the two top worst head sculpts I've ever seen. 25th Falcon and no.
Yeah, that one's pretty bad.
Oh, okay.
It's not good.
Yeah, Falcon has had a rough time of it in action figure form, hasn't he? Let's face it. The first one's great, though. The vintage figure's superb. Anyway, back to this and classified. The classified onslaught, yes, has begun. So we'll start with G.I. Diego's posts of Grunt and Tunnel Rat first, Pat. Shout out to G.I. Diego on Instagram, by the way. Link in the description, of course, for all of the original posts from these awesome peeps. G.I. Diego seems to get these figures in hand quite early, so I think he gets them in on import. But what do you think? Thoughts on Grunt, seeing him in hand?
He looks good. It's nice to see that there's a close match between what to expect and then what gets delivered.
I love that boop, little chest down device. It looks very, very cool. I must admit, there is so much going on with this Grunt figure. It's like the opposite of what I expected them to do with like a vintage style Grunt. I just thought Grunt was going to be like fairly basic. But obviously you can't really get away with that anymore. Like you can't really get away with that within you've got other figures like Tripwire. You can't just have a stripped down identical to the original Grunt. I mean, you can when you take the gear off, but the fact they gave him all the gear, I'm so happy they did it. They just made him so much more interesting. And also the fact that we've got the steel core helmet as well really does. I mean, look how cool that looks.
Yeah, I still really liked the way that was used in the Anti-Venom set all those years ago. That set was so much fun to me. Like it never occurred to me to have, because we often have repaint sets.
Yeah.
But it never occurred to me to give everybody a consistent helmet and that would, help tie the characters together.
Yeah, yeah.
In just a specific new color.
Yeah, the color looks stunning, doesn't it? Yeah. I love the gold on the visor and everything, the green. Yeah, it goes really well with the actual figure. And yeah, it really creates a pretty awesome troop builder, in my opinion, on this one. Pat's off. See you, mate. Take care.
I'm just centering myself a little bit better. It was driving me crazy.
I move around and eventually, like, I average in the middle at some point. Crazy. Love this one. I'm definitely impressed with Grunt. Then, of course, we get Tunnel Rat. Again, G.I. Diego with the images. Smash this out the park. I think Tunnel Rat looks phenomenal. I mean, it's Tunnel Rat. There's no denying that. It's effectively the same design, but looks great, doesn't he?
Yeah, he looks appropriately just a little bit shorter than the other characters.
Yeah, he's definitely shorter. In fact, I think they there's an image on this group of images.
There is. It's the last one of Tunnel Rat.
Yeah. We'll get to that in a sec. Night vision goggles look really cool. I love the tampo on the shoulder. Very nice indeed. This is actually, I thought these were little tattoos, but Lenny said no, they are actually, it's just camo paint, just like the original figure. It's just a kind of stylized camo paint that he's got on his arms. But I thought he'd almost done it so that it like could work as camo paint, but was like tattooed on. But no, that wasn't the case. That was just me being an idiot. but looks amazing. Like the little flashlights into the backpack as well. I think that's the first time I've seen that on a in-hand figure. I'm not sure if they were they actually on the figure when they showed them off. I think they were. I remember them being out and like on the floor, like all of the little bits and pieces. So, you know, I may have already seen this, but it looks really cool to see. More shots of him there. And then, of course, the one that you're talking about. Yeah, look, he's shorter than Breaker there. So, and you can't really see the other figure to the right. I believe that's Grunt. And yeah, I believe it is. Yeah, and he's, again, shorter, much shorter than that figure. So, yeah, really happy they did that. Glad they didn't make him painfully short, if you know what I mean.
Right.
Like, you know, like almost like, you know, when you get like a Yoda in a Black Series box. I'm glad they didn't do that. But it's yeah, I'm glad that he is shorter in stature. That's brilliant. Cool. They're gonna have to use that, they're gonna have to reuse that body again then, aren't they, Pat? Obviously for Tiger Force Tunnel Rat, Night Force Tunnel Rat,
and Sonic Fighters
Tunnel Rat, Anti-Venom Tunnel Rat. Was he in the Anti-Venom? No, it was Heavy Assault Squad. Which one was he in? He's in loads.
He was in Night Force again, Tunnel Rat.
Yeah, so 2 Night Force. They're going to have to do 2 Night Force redecos. What was the other one he was in? Oh, that's going to kill me. Because he's one of those characters that is in a lot of sub-teams. Almost, I think annoyingly, it was him and, I want to say like Roadblock was also in a lot of sub-teams. I think they're like high on the list.
Yeah, but Roadblock was high on the list.
Desert Patrol. Thank you, guys. It was Desert Patrol. Right. Yeah, much appreciated. Yeah, so we're going to have to get a lot of repaints of this body, and I can see them doing that. Are there any other characters of small stature you think they could throw in there? Because I can't think of any at all off the top of my head.
No, I mean, the G.I. Joe original figures were all on that standard buck. So, I mean, they occasionally had a taller buck, but they didn't really do a shorter one. So it kind of indicated that everybody was kind of the same height for the most part.
But I'm thinking of, like, you know how they've been characterized in like comics and cartoons and stuff like that, where you have.
But I still think that when they're characterizing that toy, they just didn't alter them that much. Tunnel Rat's kind of one of the exceptions.
Yeah, I wonder. Yeah, I think he is. Let us know. Mouse from Retaliation, says Viper Scout. Yeah, I don't think he was that short though. He was just young, wasn't he? I don't remember. Oh, Billy, there's one. Although you can't really use any of this body because it's like maybe the legs. But then Billy also, he'd have to be an adult at that size. So yeah, he's gonna have to be an even smaller body if it's kid Billy, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, it's not important. Let's move on because we've got Telly Viper and the Trouble Bubble as well. My goodness. Now I took a lot of images of this one, Pat, because I wanted to have a look at some of the details in the Trouble Bubble itself. Obviously, there is the figure in box. Looks pretty chunky. I like it. Mm-hmm. I'm quite surprised that they've managed to fit the whole thing in front ways. Yeah,
that's a good point.
I just assumed it would be on its side. You know, like that would be the thinner. I don't know. Maybe it's not. I guess the backpack's not on there, and the thing isn't on the back, is it? So that's in the little case.
Yeah, and it probably makes it so that it's flatter and can just be tied down easier, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. I think you're right. Then I wanted to take lots of photos of the mine because I'm really excited they've included this. Not only do we get like the actual mine, but we also has a removable engine cover, and little blast effects can go in there, which I wasn't aware of. I think I missed that during the original reveal, but that's kind of fun.
Yeah, I like the fact that it has the removable cover a lot. That's a key feature of a weird kind of accessory. And what does the other side of this look like? Is there a peg hole on it?
It's the number 9.
Oh, it looks like that looks like it might be the side though.
So
to the left on that picture, it does look like there's a peg hole.
There's a peg hole, but that's on the side of the mine, because it's, if you look at the way that the little kind of spikes positioned. No, they're all the way around, aren't they? I guess they are all the way. Yeah, maybe that is.
Yeah, that's on the back, because look at the loop things toward the on the ring underneath it. Yeah, that's on the back.
Yeah, it's on the back. So you got that little peg, which is that obviously connects to the seat usually, doesn't it?
I think it has connected to the seat, but that one looks like maybe it would connect to a flight stand.
Let's have a look to see if there's any other little spots on the. Yeah. I took these close-up images because I really like the little additional touches on the interior, like that little kind of like almost like altimeter thing that's like 70/30. I think that's kind of fun. The little radar on there. I kind of like all those little additional elements in there. Although it's kind of funny, isn't it, that you'd think that would be something that you'd need to see as a
'Cause
pilot.
I guess the way that you need to fly it is like.
It's why there's always getting shot.
I'm falling right now. I am.
Every time I look down, the altimeter switches. It's really weird. Every time I look down, it's because you're pulling the stick. Every time you look round, you idiot. Amazing. That is so funny. It's a good point actually. But this is the funny thing about the whole GI Joe thing. It's really just to make it look pretty. But
it is, and it looks really good. I like that. I like the fact that they even not just sculpted it, but also gave it deco.
Yeah, you're right though. Practicality wise, not a chance. But I think the other thing is they pilot it with that kind of VR headset, and that's everything they need is on there. But it's funny, like who is paying attention to that version of it on the actual, Trouble Bubble itself? Like it's kind of funny. I guess there's switches as well that they need to press. They probably need to check it as well sometimes. So I don't know. It's just kind of cute. I like it and funny. And the way you're kind of doing that. Hang on. Is there something near me? The radar's beeping. I can't see which. If I look down, do I then have to is it this way up or is it that way up? I don't know.
Maybe all these things project onto the glass to give a heads-up display.
That is even better as an idea. Absolutely agree with that.
Then you just got to make sure your arm's not in the way of the projection.
That's going to happen too. It's like all of a sudden it makes sense, and then it doesn't make sense immediately afterwards. Like it's perfect GI Joe. It's kind of like I call it the GI Joe paradox, isn't it? Anyway, here's the back. Now I guess the mine could probably clip to the back of the thing without the boosters, but I don't know where it's going without any boosters. Maybe I don't know. Maybe it can connect to the back of the jetpack part as well.
Wasn't that supposed to be a spot where it could refuel? Have they kind of capped that over?
I guess there's a little bit of a divot
on the original design. That little center part in between the thrusters, I think was supposed to be a spot where you could refuel it. So that kind of makes it difficult to make a future refueling thing.
Yeah, it's kind of cute though. I do like the visual of it.
Yeah.
Lovely stuff. It's really nice, this. And then we've got the Televiper. There's that VR headset head on the right. And of course, the two different skin tone options as well. Both of them look like they're having a very difficult poo. Have you noticed that?
Actually, I was thinking about how well sculpted the teeth are and the fact that the deco is actually right in place. Like if you zoom in on that,
it's really
it's
well
not
done.
like the white of the teeth is printed up onto the lips at all. Do you know what I mean? How that sometimes happens.
Yeah, I've seen a few
onto the teeth.
What was it recently? There was an action figure that Adam took a picture of and sent to us, and it didn't have sculpted teeth, and it just like had the teeth tampo on the lips or something.
Yeah, I don't remember what that was, but it just had a spot, and it was like they needed to do the I think it's the printed. It's not the plaid printed, but it's definitely printed.
Yeah, it was just really funny, and
printed?
Yeah, I guess it is. It was one of those kind of printy ones anyway. But yeah, it was hilarious. Cool. There's your Televiper, and actually, like looking at the actual figure itself, loving the details, loving the design. I know there was a bit of like uproar. Can really say that where the arms that would usually be open like, you know, no clothing on it, were painted black, and the neck as well, to kind of allow you to have the different, I guess, like skin tones on the head. And I don't really mind that. I think they're really cool. And you never know, we might get a Televiper in the retro series that follows more of that kind of original design. There's a possibility of that now that we've got the retro.
Yeah, that's very true. I kind of am hoping if we get a retro one, though, the thing that I'm not crazy about on this is like one of the key characteristics of Televiper in my mind was the 2 microphones.
Oh, right. Okay.
He has 2 microphones, and that was just a cool aspect to looking at the package art more than the original toy, because the original toy does kind of just have it be like, it looks like a big chin strap.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's called out on his file card that he has 2 microphones, and then the art definitely looks like that. That was just one of the aspects of it. And microphones look cool on a figure.
Big time.
And for him to have 2 of them, I just feel like it's really missing on this figure.
Yeah, totally. TV gun as well, like that. That's so cool. I don't know. It's like vacuum cleaner.
Yeah, but isn't it supposed to be like a camera? Or the original figure calls it a scanner.
Yeah, I've heard scanner.
I don't know exactly. Well, it's on the package. It says scanner.
Yeah.
So I don't know exactly how you would scan something. So I don't know if it's a camera necessarily. And
it's a QR code reader. That's all it is.
Right. He's supposed to be like an audio specialist anyway, not like as much visual. Like he's a communications guy.
Yeah.
So
like in the comic, they've kind of switched to it being like a monitor, so that when Cobra Commander needs to kind of talk to somebody, like he'll like get the Zoom call up on his massive scanning gun thing, and he'll just talk to people on there. So there's some, you know, the fact that he's communications makes more sense than, you know, anything else. But it does make me laugh that effectively he's got in his hand and his backpack what could be done on this. I just love that. You know, you could just have a phone, mate, and everything would be so much easier. In actual fact, you don't even have to pay this guy to be a Televiper. Cobra Commander just has a phone, and their Televipers are completely irrelevant then at that point.
As long as you can get a signal. But that's what he's there for. He's there for the fact that you cannot.
He's a human satellite. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what his backpack is for. It says microwave, that his backpack's capable of several different kinds of communication, several different kinds of waves. And so it does kind of make sense for that reason. I'm just being silly. But yeah, it's interesting. I love the figure. I think it looks great. A nice little blast effect on there on what is effectively a scanner, Pat. Yeah, but like, so if Cobra Commander's like looking into it to talk or to see, it's like, no, look, Cobra Commander, totally. This is we have a message for you. Make sure you push the correct button, Televiper. Otherwise, you're going to be in big trouble.
I'm either going to speak to Destro in a second, or I'm going to have a cooked face. Either way, I've got my chrome helmet on today, so go for it. Let's see what happens. Zoran, yeah, I like that grin as well. I can't post that, but yeah, I like that grin on the Televiper's helmet. Long range audio scanner, says Max Blue. Thank you very much, Max. Yeah. Well, actually, Televiper versus Airtight, scanner versus vacuum. It is, isn't it? I'm pretty sure Airtights is like a air purifying thing or something, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like it sucks all the bad air out of the
I don't know if it's that or if it's like just a detector, like a sniffer. It may actually be a vacuum. That may be what it's for.
I've definitely seen that in the past. I'm sure.
That's what it feels like it's for.
I'm just going to do this because it's the easiest way to do it. 3D Joe's. Shout out to 3D Joe's Airtight, because he always lists the stuff, doesn't he? Compressor pack sniffer. Air hoses.
Call it a sniffer, yeah.
It's a sniffer. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Anyway, what's next? Next is the actual Televiper and Trouble Bubble compartment. Now, the seat belt's really cool because it's in 2 pieces. The top 2 straps come over, and then the bottom one just pegs in to the kind of like front piece. So it's pretty cool. Yeah, love that.
Yeah, they learned their lesson from Snake Eyes in the beginning of G.I. Joe the movie. We discussed that, right?
Yeah.
They better strap in. That's used in the Televiper training video. Don't let this be you. And then they just show Snake Eyes flipping the dude right out of it.
Amazing stuff. And then we've got Tripwire. So this is a big one to have in hand already. I'm so surprised this stuff's already in hand. I'm not used to seeing it immediately.
Yeah, but that's a good thing. Like
it is.
These long waits in between things, it just I think that they need to sort of separate them out a little bit more so that we don't have this big drought and then just a ton of stuff all at once. But shortening the time in between reveal, because I was always feeling the double guilt. And that's one of the reasons why I've switched to just buying things in store and whenever they show up rather than pre-ordering everything. Because it's like, oh man, that's $45 for that figure or whatever. And you feel bad when you click pre-order and then you feel kind of guilty again whenever it ships.
Yeah.
Rather just do it all at once.
Double guilt. You can't. It's one bit of guilt is fine, but two bits of guilt.
Double dipping on the guilt for one figure, no.
Double dragon. Yeah. So I love the head sculpt. I think he looks like really, it's like quite a young face, fresh faced Tripwire here, which is funny because we have seen Tripwire without a helmet, haven't we? I'm sure there's like a model sheet of Tripwire without a helmet.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the Sunbow model sheet has him without a mask, I think.
But this is kind of nice to actually, I don't know, get it in figure form, I think. We didn't have it with 25th, did we? Because it was a molded helmet.
No, that was my complaint when we were talking about Tripwire before, is that previous ones have not had that. So this is, in my opinion, a key feature of this figure. As easy as it should be to just make it, because his head was kind of bulky too on that version 1 figure. So you should have been able to approximate that look in a 4-inch figure form. They just didn't.
Yeah, I'm surprised they never did either, honestly. Then we've got, I'm getting messages on the side. I have to multitask here. This should be interesting. Tiger Force Flint in hand in Germany already. Unbelievable. An unboxing in the German video has just gone up. I'll share it later. Thanks, Jeremy Kimberlin, for that. Heads up. Talking about Tripwire. Also, I know Viper is shipping as well, and Eels, and we know all of that's happening. Don't worry. But then everyone knows all that's happening, so it's great. Tripwire, let's go back to that. I love the fact that we've got this kind of new-ish head sculpt for him, though, because it kind of, again, feeds into that character a bit more, gives him a bit more depth, and he's not just a helmeted kind of background character. He's definitely been brought to the forefront, in my opinion, with this particular release. And because he can sometimes be a little bit Xandar, in my opinion. And what I mean is melting into the background. And I don't mean that Xandar does that as a figure, but his character does. That was I'm sure people know what I'm talking about when I say that. So I really like that we've got this with Tripwire. And then, of course, the actual upgrade to the vintage style is next level. I think he looks great. Yes, he's not as lean as his original figure, but it doesn't really bother me. Like, I think he looks really good.
Well, that was kind of a criticism of the original figure as time went on, that it isn't as realistic of somebody who would be a bomb disposal person.
Yeah, zero protection. That is exactly G.I. Joe's MO, though, Pat. If you're a vehicle driver, you're sitting out in the open. If you're a bomb disposal expert, you're effectively just given a pair of underpants and a pair of shades, and you've got to go and do your job. Brilliant. And there's a little shot of McLeod there as well. Look, I should have put my face. I should have superimposed my face onto the robot just to say that I like the head sculpt on it, but I didn't think of that now. Now I feel like an idiot. Looks great. Here is modern version. All geared up, and of course, like a front and back shot of everything. This is such a cool addition to the figure. It's nuts that we have effectively 3 different figures in this set.
Yeah, I've said it before, but adding adding layers and other accessories, I like that method of updating things, because then you're buying one figure and getting it, you know, the best of both worlds. And yeah, I mean, he's going to cost more, but this is a case where it's pretty clear to me that this one is packed out with a lot more than a standard figure.
Are you excited for the Fun School and Listen and Fun and Tiger Force repaints of this figure?
Well, I'm curious how they approach those. You know, are any of those going to have the bulkier stuff? I would like to see the Rat as a Fun School version of the Rat, like, because he could be a crazy color. That would be fun.
That would be adorable. I would have to say I could definitely see them doing Tiger Force Tripwire, and with precedent in the past being, you know, like less, like if it's a deluxe figure or a figure with more stuff, it's usually stripped back a little bit for the Target releases. I could see them just do, you know, taking the modern bomb disposal EOD stuff out. Probably even taking McLeod out of the mix as well, and just having the base Tripwire kind of figure, but in Tiger Force.
Rat. You don't want a rat that's painted like a tiger.
One, I would love a rat painted like a tiger, 100%. But I think they would strip it down completely, just the base Tripwire.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Element. Yeah. I would personally give me the set again in Tiger Force, please, and I'll be very happy with that. I'll pay another $34.99 for this bad boy, and I'll keep doing that with Fun School, with Listen and Fun. Yeah, keep them coming. But I'm just thinking from a practice.
I can't imagine all those selling through.
Exactly. So I think we might, they might strip it down. It'd be great if they didn't. If they kept everything and maybe took the modern EOD secondary and helmet and neck piece out, maybe they could squeeze a Target exclusive out of that with, you know, with the bomb disposal robot and the mouse. I don't know. It seems weird that you could always use the mouse and the bomb disposal robot with your Tiger Force Tripwire. It's not like that wouldn't be an option. Do you know what I mean? Like, they wouldn't necessarily have to have repaints. I would like to see a tiger rat though, a literal tiger rat, not a tiger rat, a literal tiger rat would be amazing. Anyway, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, I mean, I want to see a rat dressed as a tiger more than I want to see the repainted Tiger Force Rattler, is what I'm getting at, which is crazy, isn't it? I mean, a lot of people probably want the Rattler. Would you want the Rattler instead?
Not really. I'd rather have the Rat.
Because it's too big, right?
Yeah, that's going to be big. I imagine at this point, though, it sounds like they will get to it. Because we had that conversation last week, didn't we, about HasLabs and stuff. Yes. Long arm eventually down the road using this mold, says Redfin01. You're not the only person to notice that, bud. I definitely have that vibe as well. I'd love long arm would do really well with a kind of a repaint here, maybe a different secondary. What are your thoughts, Pat, on that? Yeah, they're going to need to do a little bit more deco to him, though, because I can't imagine this figure with every single part of it just in bright orange with black gloves and black boots.
You'd probably have to do some sort of two-tone thing, wouldn't you? Where it'd be like an orange and maybe a darker kind of tone.
Played into his accessories and put some red in there.
Big time. How many long arms did we get, deco-wise?
2.
What was the other deco?
It's the club one, the convention one.
Why can't I imagine it?
Honestly, they wouldn't be able to do that because it's pretty much this.
Yeah. I've forgotten his name. Long arm.
It was the Headhunter's year, and it's in that 3-pack with
was it
Wave and who's the other figure? Low Light in there, right?
Oh yeah, so it's like a green and black. Yeah, you're right. It's exactly this. It's the same as this.
Yeah,
this is effectively Tripwire and Long Arm in the set.
Yeah, essentially.
There you go. It's done, guys. Don't need to do it. All sorted.
I think Long Arm even came with the diffusing robot, didn't he?
Yeah. So with that said,
because they reused the one from Sigma 6.
Yeah, it was. I'm just looking at it now. It's actually a really cool looking figure, actually. But yeah, I could. I don't know. Would you want them to do an orange version of it, Pat? Is my question to you. Is that something that interests you?
Not especially. I mean, maybe. I guess if I saw it, then I would decide.
There he is.
Yep.
Anyway, you're right. It's effectively Tripwire. So there you go. You've got your long arm, guys. It's all done. It's already there. You just don't have it in orange. Oh, actually, I could see people doing customs of long arm with this figure. Definitely.
Yeah, a clear mask would be cool if they did that.
Yeah. But oh yeah, definitely. Oh yeah, because that's what it is, isn't it? Like you can see his face and everything. RKW said, "Are you familiar with Roland Rat?" Yes, I am. RKW, very familiar. I'm being from the UK. Of course, I am. He used to. He was like a puppet on a kids' TV show. Pat, you'd never heard of him, so it's fine.
No.
Roland Pat. Yeah, cool. Right then, there's more. Look at that, mate. When you see it like that, it's pretty sexy.
Yeah, he looks good.
What version do you prefer? Do you prefer modern or do you prefer the vintage style with this one?
Honestly, I'm curious to see a little more removed from the figure to see how he looks, without those shoulder pads, without the thigh pads. I think maybe I prefer the modern, because even the chest of it doesn't quite look slimmed down with that other armor, but maybe it would without those other pieces on there, and without the neck covering too.
Yeah, that would actually be
more of that stuff off and see how vintage it can look.
I think you're right. I think if you took the thigh pieces off the shoulder pieces, which are just bicep straps, that's it. They'll come off no problem. And the neck piece, I think you've probably got a pretty close approximation of a vintage Tripwire there. Definitely.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, cool. Love it. And then there's the full loadout, which is absolutely bonkers for $34.99. That is insanity right there. And I love it. That's what I want. The problem is, though, this is going forward. This is what I want to see for a deluxe figure. I don't want to see any less than this.
It wasn't that long ago that it seemed that Hasbro was moving toward not having any accessories inside their Marvel Legends, and we were worried that we would get fewer accessories in with G.I. Joe. But man, is this the opposite of that?
This is the opposite of that. This is the exact opposite of no accessories in a set.
Right.
This is all of the accessories. It's crazy. And the bulk of each one is the crazy part. Those two secondaries take up a lot of space. The helmets are massive. The backpack's pretty chunky. The friggin' detector's long and crazy. The robot's massive. It's like it's only the pistol, the hose, the mines, the rat, and the friggin' remote that are small enough to be like. Do you know what I mean? Like everything else is so bulky. So yeah, it's insane. Cannot wait. And there's me and a rat just hanging out. Me, a rat, and a remote control. There you go.
I keep on thinking that's a Claymore, but yeah, it's a remote control.
Yeah, it's got the little nipple controllers on it. You know what I'm talking about. And then we've got low light. So thanks for all of the sorry, I should be calling out everyone that posted these. But we've got Jason Yu from Tripwire, I believe. G.I. Diego were the first two. Televiper was X-Corpio on YouTube. And Lowlight is Reman Lou. So thank you very much, loads, for all these images, guys. Really appreciate it. Lowlight in hand as well, Pat. Crazy, isn't it? Like, this is just so nuts.
Yeah, I loved the Pursuit of Cobra figure, but he was really bulky. I think I've said that before, too. And this one slims that down so well. So this is a good low light.
Yeah, it's a win, this one, in my opinion, as well. And I can't wait to start seeing him in like sniper poses and stuff, because yeah, I think that's something that this figure's been missing for a while now. I mean, even the vintage figure wasn't like, you can't really get it in like good sniper poses. But like when we got to the Pursuit of Cobra one, which was phenomenal, lots of great things about it. It's just articulation isn't very good. And yeah, the secondary was so massive. I feel like you could have really done with a little bit of thinning out, should we say, in the sculpt.
The forearms and the secondary was a little inhibiting. So it was
those big kind of like those big kind of chunky lined grey things, and which they've kind of done a little bit. They've kind of made them a little bit just more of a detail on this figure, which is nice more than anything else. Anyway, I think is that everything on this slide? I think it is. I believe it is.
I think so.
Because we do have more kind of stuff to discuss that's happened in the last day or so, but we're going to throw that into the shout outs. So Pat, if you're happy, we can just move on. Oh no, I tell a lie. We do have one more thing to talk about, and that's this list. So shout out to Classic Toys UK on Twitter. Completely forgot then that we actually had this to talk about. Couple of things to point out. Obviously, first off, these are the dates posted on all of those different Pulse region websites. So EU, US, and UK are the ones that have been highlighted on this list. Of course, there's loads more Pulse, regions now. Taiwan, Malaysia. There's more, isn't there, that I'm not thinking off the top of my head. There's a lot of new kind of regions that have introduced. So they'd probably have, slightly different dates and stuff on there as well. But we've also got import dates showing, bless you. Sorry, Pat's allergic to when I say the word import. If you just sneezed again, that would have been hilarious.
I think that there was a code name on here, and I just had to sneeze.
Pat's allergic to internal code words. That's what it is. So yeah, we got basically the list is pretty cool. So thanks to Classic Toys UK for posting this and us for stealing it and reposting it and saying it was our idea. I'm just kidding. I didn't do that. There's one typo on there, which is Desert Storm Shadow. That should be Desert Snake Eyes. But other than that, pretty cool. And in the week, or like last week, a video popped up. I think it was Return of the Nerd. I think it was Return of the Nerd. I think that's what it was. And on that particular video, the guy from the UK discussed a few of the classified figures that were coming in, that they were getting in hand, and then also mentioned that Shadow Tracker was also coming soon on the old, kind of pre-order kind of, list. And he was like paired up with this other character who we have no idea. This is probably an internal code word. And it's Path Wolf Spider Varma. Whatever. So this could be why we haven't seen Shadow Tracker yet. Like maybe this is a 2-pack we're dealing with, and it's Shadow Tracker and another, like maybe Night Force character or another Cobra in that kind of vein. Any thoughts here, Pat? Because it looks like it's going to be a Walmart Collecticon thing in September. Is the release for this one?
Yeah, no, I don't have any thoughts about that at all. It just doesn't. My enthusiasm does actually dwindle a little at these code words.
It's funny. You can see me going, "Oh, this is new and interesting," and Pat's just like, "I hate you. Why do you make me do this? Why do we talk about these things? Can we just end the episode there? I want to go to sleep." Any of those things, I feel like Pat is thinking right now.
No, I'm just looking at some of the differences and some of the dates here on things. Like,
there's a few that stretch into 2024 for the UK. I've noticed as well.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's not just the UK getting everything first, because there are some things where the United States gets it a little bit earlier. Like Tripwire, so that's going to be this month.
Yep,
UK, but we have to wait until December. See, that's part of the reason why I don't mind waiting for retail, because honestly, by the time I was getting things shipped to me, they felt like they were old figures anyway, because they'd been discussed online.
Yeah, you've seen so many videos and images. Yeah.
It's just like, well, here I finally have it 6 months after everybody else. I picked up Shipwreck this week at Walmart. I found Scrap Iron this week. Yeah, like when am I going to see Big Ben? 4 months from now? Oh, wow. Yeah, nice.
How much do you hate me now?
Too. Like the cancellation of pre-orders, just not cool. I would like I would like some of this stuff. Some of this stuff still just isn't working out in my mind.
No, I know exactly what you mean on that. And I would say that these are I wonder if some of these are the kind of worst case scenario dates that we used to see. They would put like, they would just go, it's going to be this month. And then all of a sudden you see it really early. We've had that a lot recently, actually, with a lot of those figures.
That's true.
If you look at the dates on US Pulse, they are way off into the future. And the fact that I was getting, I got from Pulse, Tiger Force Dusty and Crimson Guard, their dates were even further on the website from when they came in. And what was the other one that came? There was a recent one. Valkyries has just started shipping as well.
And that's nice, but it creates another problem with pre-ordering because you don't really know when to expect that build to hit your card.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because that's the thing. You've got to look at this sometimes from a practical standpoint. When you're ordering this stuff, you're going, okay, so I expect it that month. That gives me plenty of time. It falls in a nice part of the year where this, that, and the other. Totally cool. And if you're keeping track of it all, you can make a good assumption of what your outgoings are going to be. And if, like you say, if it's well early, then you're kind of like taken a little by surprise on that one, and you then have to make adjustments possibly with other pre-orders that you've got on the docket going forward. So yeah, I totally understand that is an issue, bud. Totally. Eels are also shipping, by the way. It's not like everyone has said that in the comments, by the way, today. It's like no one's talking about it. Just kidding.
I don't know that I got my shipping notice on those, because I actually did pre-order the eel because he was Amazon exclusive, right?
Yes, correct.
Yeah. So in order to get him, that's what you had to do. And I know I ordered him. So.
Well, it might be. This is only really happening over the last day or so. I think yesterday people were talking about getting their eels shipping notifications. So it might just be that it does take a certain amount of time to get through those orders. And then obviously you might be a bit further down the list. But I imagine you'll probably get yours. You might even get it early next week. You never know.
Yeah, it says Tuesday. So.
There you go. All done. It's coming. Brilliant. Anyway, that is the list. Who do you guys think Path Wolf Spider Varma is, other than one of the weirdest superheroes ever? I'm going to go out and say we know that Night Force Shockwave is around the corner. I wonder if it's like a Ultimate Enemies 2-pack. I'm gonna go with Shadow Tracker and Night Force Shockwave. What's your thoughts on that one, Pat? I'm not my thoughts on that, but what do you think that figure's going to be? Give me a rando.
I like your theme. I'm not going to go with Shockwave. I don't think that it'll be just like Tunnel Rat Night Force right away. Action Man.
Nice.
It's not going to be Action Man.
It is now.
It would be awesome if it was.
We'll just say we'll go ahead and confirm that as happening, and I'll do a whole episode on Classified Action Man. Mate, that would be amazing if they did that, especially like the one from the Night Force set. With which looks more like a Tiger Force figure because it's got tiger stripe camo paint and orange top. So when I see that, I forget that it's Night Force. Genuinely, I always look at that and go, "Oh yeah, it's Night Force, isn't it?" Completely forgot. But yeah,
I really like that the fact that they included him in there, even though it's Tracker. It's like, but we're getting Action Man, and that was fun.
Yeah, Tracker. There's another one that gets zero love.
Yeah,
did we even get another version of Tracker other than the no? Because it was
Skull. There's a Fun Skull Tracker,
but there isn't like a modern 4-inch version, is there?
No.
Oh, man, come on!
Completely ignored.
Let's Classified has to reinvigorate Tracker. Has to happen.
Yeah, he just needs to have the boat and some really cool shoes.
Hell yes! Actually, come to think of it, that would be a pretty cool figure and vehicle.
It would be, yeah.
I
don't know that I would want another blow up raft.
No, it would have to be molded,
Yeah.
but still.
Yeah.
They could make it, what's the word? Floatable.
Honestly, just do like a pre-paint of the night landing and put it in there.
There you go. And then obviously, yeah, we could get a night landing would be wicked. Throw a couple of eels on it. Eels up inside you. Yeah, totally. Tracker is also a Navy SEAL. Thank you, Figure Six Pack. Yes, he is. So maybe, yeah, but I want vintage Tracker. I want that look, but in classified personally. Night Force Robo Joe, says Ryan Daly. That's what he thinks it's going to be.
Yeah,
I mean that's pretty obvious though.
It's probably it.
Bit too obvious, mate. Tiger Force Chuckles, maybe. Night Force Falcon with original head. I would probably quit at that point. I'd probably leave. I'd just walk out the door if it was the same head. Anyway, that's that. That's that. Let's shift focus now to the shout-outs, which we do technically have a few more news things to talk about, but I didn't have time to do videos, so there you go.
Have you tried HOARDAR yet? No? Well, you need to. If you have a collection of things and want to create a fun and easy way of organising it and of course showing it off, then get involved. You can post items and build collections, and you can drop a status like getting a fun delivery or seeing some awesome related stuff on your travels. Build your collections with HOARDAR. The app is free to download on Google Play and the App Store, so what are you waiting for? Get to hoarding.
Anyway, yes, shout-outs. We'll do a few shout-outs first, and then we'll get onto the news bits at the end. Pat, you can go first, my good man. Who have you got?
As always, shout out to Philip.
Of course.
And yeah, we had what was it, almost a week ago? I guess it was a week ago today. We posted a new video. And I've gotten a lot of views. I really appreciate anyone who's stopped over there to take a look.
It's an absolute beauty of an episode. Really enjoyed that one. I didn't actually. Usually, I'll tell you, I'll message you and go, "I really enjoyed that episode." Completely forgot, but I watched it as soon as it came up. This is what I always do with articulated points. As soon as it comes up, I do all the sharing. You know, the corporate retweet.
And I really appreciate you doing that for us. Yeah.
I do all the corporate stuff. Gross. And then, and then I immediately watch it. And I must admit, I was really into it because it touched on those things that I know of, but don't know the details of. Like, there's so much of that stuff that we talk about, you know, it'll be like, we'll drop, you know, randomly talk about that cancelled set from like 97 or, you know, 2005 or whatever. And we'll talk about that stuff like in passing, but I'll never know all of the details about it. And of course, you went into some massive detail with that Crimson Guard kind of disguise set, which is so much fun.
Yeah, and there's still, you know, it's one of those things where there's still always some details that are a bit of a mystery. So.
Yeah, go check it out. Link in the description for Articulated Points YouTube channel. And shout out to Phil. Yeah, Phil, good lad. Loads of views on that blooming SDCC panel.
Yeah, it's like up over 6,000 already. So yeah, tons of views on that.
Phenomenal. I love that I've been busting my A for how many years? Never done a video with that many views. And you guys just turn up, throw a video up there, and it's like 1 million straight off the bat. Kills me.
Yeah, I was surprised, but appreciative that he streamed that, and just so that I could also see the panel.
Yeah, it was a brilliant panel, and thank you very much, Phil, for doing that, because it's like having been a person that has done that in the past for HasCon. I remember streaming every G.I. Joe related panel and the dinner that they did. They did panels at the dinner as well, like presentations and everything. Managed to stream all of that, and I'm so happy I did, because that was full of awesome information. Like, that was the legends from back then talking about all of that stuff.
Those streams are still online, aren't they?
Yeah, they're on Facebook, I believe, on our Facebook page. And they were also Dan Klingensmith reposted them, and I think the links on his website. So that's the Creating G.I. Joe 3 3/4 inch website. So yeah, you should be able to find them. It might take a bit of digging, but you should be able to find them. We've had a few videos go up since then, Pat. I think
a couple. Yeah,
just a few weeklies since then, like a billion weeklies. Anyway, yeah, thank you, Phil, for that brilliant stuff. Next is the fam. Shout out to the fam, UK, US. Hoping to book my flight to the UK soon. That might have to happen today. So I'm making a little trip out to the UK, and like I said, I'll make some content out of it as well. Probably do a weekly from the UK. Pat, are you cool with that?
Yeah, that'd be cool.
You have to come with me though. Is that all right?
That's gonna be an odd hour for you. Then,
yeah.
Right?
What time is it now? 11, 12, 1, 2, 3. It's like 4 in the afternoon. It'll be fine.
Oh, okay.
3 or 4 in the afternoon. I can do that. Oh, Ray Murphy's missed the show. Darn it, Ray. You're just going to have to go back and watch all 1.25 hours of it later. So shout out to the family and to Kate and Phoebes as well, of course, holding the fort right now. To Brian Sauer for the amazing graphics. And of course, linked to Brian, Brian's working on some new movie news burst graphics for us that hopefully should get those over the weekend. And Justin and I did a little movie news burst recently, so we'll be doing some more talk about the G.I. Joe and Transformers crossover. But other than that, Brian is also the head of Assembly Required, or Disassembly Required, as it's known this year, November 3rd and 4th at Hy-Vee Hall, downtown Des Moines. Don't know why I said it that way. I just did. It's an amazing in-person convention. And yeah, you've got to make sure you go there. It's one of the best G.I. Joe related cons going, in my opinion. Also, in relation to Assembly Required, they also do an online version called Armor, and we have a new memo to read out to all employees, to dawdlers, that is, procrastinators, dilly-dalliers, etc., from Tomax and Zamet Powley, joint CEOs, Extensive Enterprises. This is about gear kit pre-order deadlines. While normally we would be remiss to issue a memorandum on the weekend, we felt it was pertinent to point out that the deadline to pre-order your gear kit is this Sunday, August the 6th at 11:11 p.m. Reminder 2, the official Extensive Enterprises company policy on weekends is that they don't exist. They are merely an extra 2 days to increase your worth to the company. Hilarious. Keep your security tight and your spending loose. Brilliant. Deadlines are set to ensure that your kits arrive in time for the Armor event on August the 19th. Don't make us track you down like a rogue broker. There you go. Thank you very much for the guys at Extensive Enterprises for that memo. Gear kits, like they said, Sunday, August the 6th. You know, that's tomorrow. So make sure you get that sorted. And speaking of gear kits, they're going to come with this 6-inch accessory or accessories for the Crimson Twins, for your Crimson Twins figures. Obviously, the zip line handle. Here's all the little pieces you get as well. In the, I think this is the, is this the 1/18th scale, or is this the one? I can't remember which scale this one is that I'm looking at right this second. So I'll just double check because I don't want to say the wrong thing.
Well, I thought it was 1/12th scale.
Well, that's the thing. I just want to double check that it is exactly the 6-inch scale figures stuff here, because yeah, it is 100% because it was on the same post. You're right. So you've got a little is that a little coffee mug? You've got the briefcase. That's the word I'm looking for. You've got the zip line handle. You've got the 2 classic blasters, and then you've got those 2 kind of like not harpoons, grappling hook ends as well. I have had, for some reason, a mental block on grappling hooks, and I don't know what it is. Like, I always look at them and I forget that they're called grappling hooks. What is that about?
I don't know. I get confused when it's a grappling hook or when it's a grapnel.
What the hell is a grapnel? Never heard of that in my life.
You've never heard of a grapnel?
No. Yeah,
it's generally Batman stuff is referred to as a grapnel. And you know what a grapnel is? It's a grappling hook.
Amazing. That's 2 words I'm going to struggle to, or 2 terms I'm going to struggle to remember from now on. That's great. Thanks. Chris, could you put a link for Robot Kingdom below? I mean, just search Robot Kingdom, David. Just literally search Robot Kingdom. You should be able to find it. I would I'll do that going forward. But yeah, I mean, it's only one thing you can really find with it as a store. There aren't any other stores called that. Still puzzled me on what kind of string they use for the ropes. Actually, that was really interesting. Yeah, it was like hardcore, and it was almost like what's the word? Treated, wasn't it? The string
like for the vintage string.
Yeah,
yeah, it was a very specific kind of string, and it was pretty consistent too.
Like a grapnel is for boats, says RKW. There we go.
Okay.
Thanks, RKW. Appreciate that. Some kind of a paracord, says Future Fortress. It was obviously much smaller than that, because like paracord's quite thick, isn't it?
Maybe nylon string. Maybe no, because nylon generally has a plastic feel to it, right?
Yeah, it does, because it's got that coating on it, hasn't it?
Yeah. So yeah. I don't know exactly what kind of string it was. They
Anywho,
definitely seem to have a large supply of it though, because over many years it was roughly the same kind of string with every figure one, or they would come with it.
It was, yeah. And it was always, fused at the end as well, so you wouldn't get the fraying on it. Yeah, I liked all that. The stuff that it used to
Maybe
come
it
with.
is nylon then, if it was fused at the end. I don't really remember that. Or was it glued? I don't remember how they kept the ends.
That's what I mean. Like there was some sort of finish on it to kind of keep it from fraying. And they did that with all that kind of stuff. Yeah, could be nylon. Anyway, this gear kit is the all-in or the 6-inch. You get all this beautiful stuff that you can utilize with your Crimson Twins, and there they are utilizing some of it with the zip line. Also, got the Cell Pop card backs, which come again, I think, with all of the gear kit options. So you can have a Tomax and a Zame at one. I love the artwork that Brian does. It's just phenomenal, isn't it? Like, it's so good.
Yeah. Some of the stuff that he's done has been especially good. I don't know, the year that he pulled out that Serpentor art, it was really, really impressive to me. And just the overall theming of the convention, whenever you go to AR, it's very clear that there's like a cohesive look to all the stuff that he's put out there for it.
Yeah, and I love all these like little Sunbow Cell Pop ones he does as well. It's just so good. And what's cute about this one is the sticker is on different sides of the, the fake sticker for the price is on different sides of the.
Oh yeah, it is.
I like that. Really nice. And then they've got both of them on the back in kind of like that crimson kind of like, like filter over it. Very nice indeed. Love that. Also, you get a little 5-pack of stickers as well. You've got the Twins obviously there. You've got the Operation Armor with the Extensive Enterprises E at the end of it. You've got the Guardsman design with the kind of the rifle they're very well known for. Anonymity, loyalty, conformity. I love that. The AK-48AW, and there's obviously the Crimson Guard as well, holding that said rifle as another cool sticker. The design that goes into this, all of the cool stuff that you get with these gear kits are amazing. This is for the 1/18th gear kit, and this is a little Extensive Enterprises office with the window and the desks and everything, and I think Rattlers in the distance. Now that could be. I think maybe a nod to Pyramid of Darkness, would you say, Pat, where they fly through the city and they're all in Rattlers and it's what's his name? Oh no, maybe they're not all in Rattlers. I think maybe it's 2 Sky Strikers chasing a Rattler, isn't it? And they go through the cityscape and then the Rattler goes into the building.
Well, that isn't 2 Sky Strikers and a Rattler, is it? Or are those all Rattlers?
I think they're all Rattlers, but I don't know. It's awesome. So they're coming into obviously land at Extensive Enterprises building anyway.
Yeah, they are all Rattlers. Yep.
It's really nice though, isn't it? And I love the fact that you get the reflection of the EE logo on the floor through the as the light comes through the window. Really cool. Really cool. So yeah, again, this is a little cardboard diorama basically, and you get one with the 6-inch and you get one with the 4-inch, but this is specifically for the 4-inch scale and gear kits.
Is this the briefcase? Like it opens into this?
The briefcase is the gear kit, yeah. So the whole gear kit opens out and all the stuff is inside. I don't think that is the interior of the briefcase though.
Oh, it is. Yeah, because look at the top of it.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, you are totally right. That is the interior of the brick. That's so cool. That is so neat. I wasn't aware of that. I thought because like in the past the cardboard sets have literally been take out and build kind of thing. Maybe that comes as a briefcase and comes inside the gear kit as well. Because yeah, I'll have to ask Brian on that one because that
Yeah,
is
I would imagine that he's probably still working out how exactly it works, but I would expect it to be the interior of the briefcase is that backdrop, and then you pull out and fold additional pieces for the rest.
that's so cool.
What I'm gonna guess.
That's so cool if they're doing that, and it makes sense to utilize the actual gear kit box. That's really,
Yeah.
really, yeah, that's quality. It looks so good. It's a lot of fun. I love what they do with this stuff, and yeah, it's just so well executed. Now, this is the other news story you need to talk about, Pat, which I didn't do a video for. Didn't have time. Sorry, guys. And this is quite an interesting one to talk about. This is GDTOYS. And this is the third-party company. This isn't an official release. It's a 12-inch Baroness figure. I said to you early when we came on, I said, do you see this actually making it to market when they're utilizing for an unofficial release the actual Cobra logo? And you said...
And I said, well, if it's not being released in the United States, maybe they can get away with it.
Yeah, so it's... the one thing I will say on this, though, is that you so there's a pre-order thing for it right now. You put a non-refundable deposit of $30 down, and then I think it's $200 overall, I think. So
yeah, and that non-refundable is that's tough with that logo on there, because you know, a lot of times, like with Transformers that are a similar you know, not done in an official capacity, they usually leave the Autobot and Decepticon logos off of them.
Yeah.
So the fact that this not only has the Cobra logo on her, but on the marketing for it, yeah, it could end up gaining some attention, and maybe you won't get your $30 back.
That's the worry, isn't it? That's the risk that you kind of like you run on something like this. The fact that it like you could just be throwing $30 away at the end of the day. So, you know, that could be what happens here. But you know, because I'm wary when it comes to this kind of stuff. Do you remember all those many moons ago, a third-party company popped up and did laser vipers? Do you remember that?
They were going to do the laser vipers. That was like a crowd fund that was on Taobao, and it was supposed to reach a certain number of pre-orders. They were going to do laser viper, and they were going to do the Python one.
Python version, yeah.
Based, I think, on the club's Python ones. And then they were going to do their own backpack with them. And yeah, none of that ended up happening.
So that was slightly different, and then it wasn't shut down. It just didn't make it crowdfunding wise. Right. Yeah. Again, like it's very, well, there have also been bootlegs spotted recently of classified figures, haven't there? I think Cobra Commander and somebody else.
I think two Cobra Commanders.
Is it just two different Cobra Commanders?
I don't know if there's somebody else in addition to those, but I've seen a lot of the light blue Cobra Commander and the Snake Supreme Cobra Commander, and both of them available boxed. Interesting.
Yeah, because like I feel like I haven't seen anything for like, you know, for the longest time, and you kind of almost expect it a little bit, don't you? You expect some sort of attempt at like a little knockoff or bootleg here, there, and everywhere. So like, it's a gray area, and it's obviously one that, you know, it's kind of at your own risk, I think, getting involved with, because like we just mentioned here, this could be one of those things where the use of the logo could be problematic, or they could just be like, we don't care, we're doing it, and it's going to come out no matter what. So you never know. But there you go. That is an available item, 12-inch Baroness. What do you think of the figure, Pat, I should ask?
Not for me. There's a lot better ways that I can spend my money. There's still some G.I. Joe stuff that I don't own that's official stuff. And I love the Baroness. But this doesn't look like the Baroness to me.
Yeah.
looks like it falls a little more under some of the fan art stuff that is
Yeah.
out of character, in my opinion, for the
Yeah.
Baroness. So
I get what you're saying. I get what you're
yeah.
saying. Anyway, just thought it was definitely worth talking about and noting.
For sure.
I'll also, yeah, go on.
It's almost an indicator of how healthy the brand is whenever
Yeah.
people want to jump in and make, you know, full figures and hope that it sells at a premium in order to get that. Even the bootlegs are a sign that there's demand there enough for some I say company. I guess it probably is a company.
Loosely, you can loosely use that term, yeah.
Right.
Sole proprietor.
Right. Yeah. I really want to see a review of that because I doubt that they're exactly the same, but they could be of decent quality.
Yeah.
Who knows?
This is a 12-inch figure, by the way, if anyone was wondering, and also link in the description to the HISTank kind of link article on this one, so all the information is there. And also, I will shout out Dinah Davis, who put me onto this originally last night, but I was asleep. So when I woke up, I saw the message, but obviously I hadn't seen this kind of go up. But I think it popped up at some point yesterday during the afternoon, and I wasn't keyed in to every single thing going on, unfortunately, at that moment in the day. So I missed this one. But thank you to Dinah Davis for letting me know about it. Also, shout out to Renegade Game Studios, who just released a press release, which you can read the full info in the link below in our description. They're doing not only Transformers Robo Rally, but they're also doing a G.I. Joe Axis and Allies game, which is quite interesting. Does that pique your interest, Pat, a little bit?
I'm curious. Yeah, I want to see where that goes.
I do have all the information right here, but like I said, the full press release is effectively in the link in the description below. Let's see what it says here for G.I. Joe. It says the game will feature over 110 figures, including the Snowcat, Wolf, Sky Striker, and Rattler. The game will also introduce new strategic options that commanders may employ, such as using the Weather Dominator to freeze the sea, to block pathways, or create strategic land bridges. Players can expect to deploy troops in 2024. Scott Gator said, G.I. Joe is the perfect fit for our new line of games powered by Axis and Allies. Now fans of war games and the world's ultimate fighting force can come together for an epic experience. Fun. I like that a lot. I kind of like the fact that they've included or they're incorporating things like the Weather Dominator in there. They've done well, Renegade Game Studios, I think, in incorporating lots of aspects of the brand into their artwork, their games, all of it.
Yeah. The Renegade stuff has been really good. I regret that I haven't been able to pick up a lot of it.
I think, I mean, I've got a few of the things. Have I played any of it yet? Have I bums? I need to get involved in that stuff. I almost found myself playing a little card game on my own the other day, like a sad sack that I am. But I definitely want to try and give all of those their due diligence at some point. Anyway, yeah, I think it's a fun idea. The actual game is called Battle for the Arctic Circle, which is also another thing that's kind of interesting. I should have mentioned before. And like I said, I think it's 2024 that's all kicking off. So it'd be nice to see like updates on that. I imagine there's a Renegade Game event soon. So if there is, we'll cover it, obviously, as we always do. And hopefully get some more information on that. So that's no, it's not everything. There's more. Super 7 have Ultimates updates, and that is Wave 3, which is Doc, Scarlet, Storm Shadow, and the Cobra Soldier. That is scheduled to leave the factory in end of October and ship to customers in late December. And Wave 4 looks like it's been pushed to March of 2024. So they're looking to leave the factory in January and ship to customers in early March of 2024. That doesn't really surprise me though. I know they might have had different dates on it before, but I feel like that makes sense to me.
Yeah, honestly, once you get into the end of the year, I just kind of expect stuff to be pushed to not the very beginning of the year.
Yeah,
I don't know the time frame of what I would expect for that stuff to ship in. That's kind of it seems right.
Yeah, and hopefully we won't get any more kind of like issues. I think the Wave 2
kind of unpainted faces really did cause a little bit of an issue with the people that were collecting that line, the fans that were collecting that line. So I think hopefully with that, that won't happen again. And if it does, then I think they'll probably lose a lot more people than Wave 2 did. But yeah, fingers crossed there aren't any issues with those. Anyway, I think that's everything. Yes, it is. How did we get an hour and a half out of that, Pat?
I have no idea. Yeah, it felt like we were only getting an hour out of it, and that was half an hour ago. It was like, well, it's time for shout outs.
I don't know how we do it. I'm so sorry. Okay, guys, thank you so much for joining us for this episode. It's been a lot of fun. I just got a message. That I can talk about now. It's from Brian. I'm about 5 minutes behind on the full force. He says, yes, the EE office is also the suitcase, just on the 4-inch and all in kits. Thank you, Brian. Thank you for explaining that. And I appreciate it very much. So there you go. That is it for the end of this one. Pat, thanks for joining me, mate. Really appreciate it, as always.
Thanks for having me again.
We've got loads to come. We've got our PulseCon monthly. We've got to record soon. Maybe next week. Are you good for that next week, do you reckon?
I think I should be, yeah.
Cool. We'll get that done and dusted. Try and get Justin involved, of course. And then that will be our kind of PulseCon exclusives, what we'd like to see. Did you enjoy our monthly just recently? Let us know in the comments as well. Go and watch the monthly if you haven't already. That was one of our... We enjoyed that one a lot, actually, didn't we? That was one of our favorites.
It was a lot of fun, yeah.
Yeah, hopefully we can do that. Anyway, thanks for all the comments, and there's a lot. Sorry I haven't been able to get to all of it. It's been a barrage, just like the classified figures coming in at the moment. I will have a Big Ben and Range Viper unboxing for you guys probably on Monday morning. So we'll save that for the Monday morning show. Someone asked me about Intel Patreon stuff. Yes, so we'll be doing Q&A. I'm going to try and squeeze that in tomorrow. So I'll put a post up of the date and the time and everything tonight. And hopefully for our patrons, I'll get you like a Intel Q&A tomorrow. Sorry about the slackness on that. It's been a very busy week. Lots to come anyway. Pat, you know what to do at the end of these episodes. First off, everyone has to remain fresh cheese bags, which doesn't make sense because it's actually, they're called Stay Fresh cheese bags. So you'd Stay Fresh cheese bags. And as always, after 3, you know what to do. 1, 2, 3.
Full force.
Yeah, we'll go. Make sure you get involved with the discussion by liking, sharing and commenting on these videos, and as always you can keep up with the show after listening by following on Twitter @TheFullForce, liking the Facebook page facebook.com/TheFullForce, and if you would like to contact the show you can message us on either of those platforms with feedback and questions. We also have a Patreon page, so if you want to show your support for the show, see your name up in lights on these videos, or enjoy exclusive bonus content, then check out patreon.com/TheFullForce podcast, or click on the link on any of the posts this podcast appears in. Full Force.